Lance Stroll has been getting a lot of criticism for what happened in Brazil. He didn't even get to start the race because he crashed his car in a weird way during the warm-up lap. He got his car stuck in the sand even though he had plenty of room on the road to get back on track. The team can't afford to have Stroll crashing and not doing well anymore, especially now that Newey and Honda are joining. So can we expect big changes at the Aston Martin team? And if so, who would be the perfect person to replace Lance? One of the easiest things to guess in this sport is that Lance just isn't cut out for it. He has shown over and over again that he doesn't belong at Aston Martin, even though his dad owns the team. But Lawrence has said very clearly that his son will keep his seat as long as he owns the team. But this might change now that Newey and Honda have come to Aston. Martin and will start working there fully in 2025 and 2026. The latest mistake happened in Brazil where Stroll crashed during the warm-up lap. When this happened, he was really embarrassed because the fans started chanting the name of Aston Martin's backup driver Felipe Drugovich. He's one of the few drivers who has won the Formula 2 championship, and he doesn't have a seat in Formula 1 right now. It's really painful for Drugovich to see drivers like Behrman, who hasn't won it yet, and Colapinto, who wasn't even trying to win Formula 2 this season, get chances when his chances to replace either Stroll or Alonso are almost zero. When talking about this weird crash in Brazil, Lance Stroll said, "As soon as I touched the brake, I just had a huge rear lock and then I was just along for the ride from there. I've never felt that in the car, so maybe there was a brake problem and we have to look into it for sure. In a race like this, anything can happen, so to be out on lap 1 really stinks, but we have to look into what happened." What's really painful for Aston Martin is that they might be the 9th or 10th fastest team, or at least they were in Brazil according to Alonso, even though both of their cars made it into the top 10 qualifying round, which didn't even happen for teams like Mercedes and Red Bull. It shows that their race speed is so bad that they can't compete at all. The focus is now on 2025, but is Stroll the right person to continue with? It's well known that the team boss Mike Crack has been pretty happy with the technical knowledge that the Canadian driver has shown, but he can also do that while working behind the scenes, because having technical knowledge and knowing how to drive a car to its limit are two completely different things. In this case, Lance has proven that he's missing so much when it comes to scoring points. If this continues, it will definitely put Aston Martin at the back of the grid in 2025, considering how strong teams like Racing Bulls and Haas have been in their second seasons in 2024, right? Now there are two names that are being talked about a lot when it comes to replacing Lance Stroll, if this is likely to happen, and they are both from the Red Bull team, Verstappen and Tsunoda. For the Dutch driver to leave his team, it would take some major problems with the car development for 2025, while his amazing performance in Brazil saved his championship. It's very unlikely that he'll have an easy season next year, which could make him look for a new team. Marco himself said that Verstappen drives where he can win, with the latest comments from Jos Verstappen, who said that the 3-time world champion drives aggressively because the car is very bad and he needs to get the most out of it. It's going to be interesting to see how things will change in 2025 when talking about Verstappen leaving Red Bull and finding a new home from 2026 onwards. Marco said, "Max drives where he can win. Aston Martin has the most modern factory. The wind tunnel will be working next year, and Honda engines will be added to that. Everything fits, and if you look at history, it's clear that wherever Newey has gone, there's been improvement. I don't know why it should be different at Aston Martin." These comments were supported by Jos Verstappen as well, who said that there's nobody in Red Bull who's taking responsibility for the team's problems, and he warned everyone that good people will leave if Horner stays in charge, whether we like him or not. His statements did come true, and now the team is very close to losing the 3-time world champion to what could be their biggest rivals, with the only question being whether or not he would take Stroll's seat. Alonso himself said that he doesn't plan on retiring anytime soon, and Lawrence said that the goal would be to bring Verstappen no matter the cost. This suggests that a pairing of Verstappen and Alonso is also something that Honda and Newey will push for as well. On the other hand, Yuki Tsunoda is also very close with Honda, and one of the main reasons why he hasn't been connected to the Red Bull seat as closely as Lawson, Ricciardo and even Colapinto recently is because there's always a threat that he could leave the Austrian team and go to wherever Honda is in this case, Aston Martin. Of course, it's going to be difficult for Lawrence to choose which driver he'll replace, the aging 2-time world champion or his son, who is proving over and over that he's not made for this sport. But one thing is for sure, Newey and Honda won't wait too long until they want to see results with Aston Martin. Yes, Tsunoda did say that he's tied with Red Bull right now, and by the end of 2024 we're going to see whether or not he will have a real chance to join Verstappen. Horner went on to say that they will respect the deal with Honda and give a couple of tests at Tsunoda to check his skills in one of the Red Bull cars. Furthermore, Horner said Yuki is a member of the junior team and it's something we have discussed. With Honda, he will test the car again at the tire test after the season ends. It's something that's been agreed upon for quite some time. It'll be good to give him a run and get the chance to work with Red Bull racing engineers and see how he performs in a Red Bull racing car again. A lot of these questions will be influenced by the latest additions to Aston Martin, Newey and Honda. Both of these sides have stated their wishes to return to winning ways, which the team has kind of promised since 2022 after taking some important staff from Red Bull. But it was more than obvious that the team that was supposed to bring the upgrades was just not the right one. This made Lawrence make moves left and right, and the most important one was bringing Newey and Honda to work in the same place, along with Andy Cowell from Mercedes and the ex-technical director at Ferrari, Enrico Cardale. All of this will show whether or not Lawrence understood that there's no way his son can win championships with his team. But with the aging Alonso, the options for Aston Martin are clear. It's either Verstappen, who might choose to use a clause in his contract sooner rather than later and choose a new home from 2026, or who could benefit a lot from the close relationship he has with Honda. This is something that will be worth watching very closely. But as things stand, Lawrence would have to make a very difficult choice in his life, and that's accepting the fact that there's no longer a place for his son in an F1 car. While he was, and still is, the main guy in the team, there's something that we need to understand better. He's been selling small shares to other shareholders like Octos and even Adrian Newey, who is also a technical partner of the team. This is definitely very important because these are the team's insides, along with Aramco, who wouldn't want to see their money being wasted in Formula One just because of the son of the owner who doesn't know how to drive the car properly. With all of this in mind, the situation will be quite interesting at Aston Martin, because the last thing that the trio of Newey, Cowell and Cardile would want to see is a driver who has no idea how to perform in their car and, more importantly, has no technical knowledge with the car whatsoever. Lawrence has kept him in the comfort zone for quite some time, and it's clear that there's a talk that needs to be held between the father and the son that could end up badly for the younger Canadian driver. But it's not all that bad for him. Aston Martin is competing in other championships as well, and there could be an opportunity somewhere else for Lance, even though the only goal is to stay in Formula One and nowhere else. Do you think that Verstappen and Tsunoda will have the opportunity to replace Lance anytime soon? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're interested in the latest revenge that the GPDA has applied to the FIA with their Instagram post, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.